Back in the 1980s, Halley's Comet flew past Earth, and Carl Sagan and other astronomers were talking about this once-in-a-lifetime event. But a few months before that, an anime with the same name was flying onto store shelves, and today we're gonna talk about it. Let's take a look back at 1985. Anime in Hollywood are at their height of popularity, and every series you could think of was referencing movies left and right. You had Dirty Pair trying to be Eddie Murphy, you had whole series trying to copy what George Lucas was doing, and then you got anime where you don't even know what they're trying to be. One part love story, one part Terminator, Legend of Halley is a weird anime to even talk about. The story starts by reminding us what Halley's Comet is, and then it turns into a Terminator movie almost immediately. We start off with an escaped prisoner wiping out a construction crew with his bare hands, and then we cut to a Nevada diner where the same thing happens again. The escaped madman Zomba is on the loose, and he's bumping off everybody he runs into with the strength of 10 gorillas. As all this is going on, a kid manages to escape the diner, and then they show us the villain is an alien monster in human form. And at this point, I thought I was watching a monster movie, but they hard cut to a disco, and we get introduced to the protagonists. There are 5 central characters in this anime. The first is Subaru. He's a teenager with a bad habit of getting into fights. And our second character is his girlfriend Yumi. She's the daughter of a rich businessman who's trying to keep him away from her. The story kicks off with a fight at the disco, and after he makes bail, they introduce us to his father, who lost his legs in Nam. That's not a joke, by the way, that's like the actual plot of the anime. When they get home, Subaru mentions that he's going to study bacteria abroad left by Halley's Comet, and immediately after he says this, his dad locks the anime into a Nam flashback. They don't, ease you into it either, too. It's like, okay, well, we're in Nam now. Kinda bold decision, just abandon your anime 15 minutes in and start a new one, but okay. I don't know if there was some kind of last-minute script shuffle or something, but I'm still laughing at how abrupt this is. The anime then follows Subaru's dad in his combat days, and this is just how the anime is for the next 20 to 30 minutes. He was investigating a village where they worship a meteorite, and just as soon as he finds it, his entire group gets completely wiped out. He runs for cover into the jungle, only to find a bunch of ancient ruins where we meet the 5th main character of the story. Lamina is a mysterious girl that has something to do with Halley's Comet, but she can't speak a word and just says Robert's name over and over. You would think her name was Halley, but it's not. And yes, I know Halley's Comet was named after Edmund Halley, but that's still a girl's name, and I cannot believe they didn't use it. The two get to know each other, and through his friendship with this ghostly girl, he restarts his life, goes back to Japan, and then the rest of the OVA follows his son, tracking her down and running from the monster that's trying to destroy the entire cast. There's a plot going on about how Halley's Comet seeded all life on Earth too, but at that point all you're gonna care about is the Terminator fight that the entire anime has been building up to. The last 30 minutes are where it really kicks into gear, but it's just so slow to get there. We do eventually get a fight in a hydroelectric power plant at the end of the anime, so at least it ends on a pretty good high note. One thing this anime doesn't have is proper scene transitions. I mentioned it before and I might be asking a lot, but the way that the OVA connects is really weird. It starts as a Terminator anime, then it's an alien movie, then it's a love story, and then you're in Nam and you have no idea how you got there. And that's really the problem with the whole thing, it just doesn't know what it wants to be. The pacing is just all over the place. Legend of Halley is over an hour long, and I can't shake the feeling that this was supposed to be a movie with a much higher budget at some point. If they compressed it down to 42 minutes, it would have been a lot better. Something else that's really noticeable is the lack of sound, too. There's entire scenes where they're trying to build up the mood, and there's just nothing happening, not even music. Japanese publication Out Magazine only mentions this anime a single time, and they complained about the exact same thing, so I think I'm pretty in the safe range to say this movie is just a little bit too long. Pacing issues aside though, the soundtrack is one of the things that I really liked about it. The main theme is this hauntingly beautiful song done with a harmonica, and it's the sort of thing that sticks with you long after you hear it. All the music was composed by Kei Wakakusa, who did the music for God Mars and mecha series El Gaim, and the theme was sung by Yoko Nagayama, who also lent her singing voice to the 5 Star Stories movie, which is a pretty famous mecha anime in its own right. Now, she usually never did voices, but in this anime she was the green-haired girl Lamina. They even threw in a montage of her singing the main theme to sell some more records, but I guess voicing a mute character doesn't look too good on your resume. Needless to say, she stuck to J-pop music and never did an anime character ever again. By the way, the guy from the manly phone call clip was also the monster in this anime, so anytime you get recommended that video, just remember he was also the anime Terminator. The other thing that I kinda liked about this anime was just how sudden everything is. I went into it expecting a love story since it's right there in the title, but it hits you with so many unexpected scenes it almost works. The worst thing that you can say about an anime is you don't remember anything about it, but man, I am always going to remember this as that one anime with a 20-minute flashback. Even with the name on the box, nobody in this OVA looks like they had anything to do with Osamu Tezuka. The main character kind of looks like Rock from Metropolis, but all the character designs were done by Toyo Ishida. He's pretty famous for designing Minky Momo, and if you're trying to read the manga that this anime is based on, well, you're not gonna find it. It's not because it's rare, it just doesn't exist. Japanese Wikipedia lists an ISBN number for something that kind of looks like a manga, but it's actually a novelization based on the OVA. In fact, this is possibly the only Tezuka anime that he never actually handled. Aside from the general concept, it's a completely original story made just for the video market. As I said before, this anime is pretty much completely unknown. It has a VHS, it's got a Laserdisc, and I guess if you were absolutely out of your mind, you could track it down on Victor's VHD video format, but good luck with that. It's one of those anime that's more of a collector's item than something you're gonna sit down and watch. It came out one time in the 1980s, and that was it. This happens more often than you would think. Legend of Halley was the only full-length OVA that they ever did, and they're either embarrassed that they have their name attached to it, or there's some kind of weird legal reason that they can't bring it up. Whatever the situation is, I had some fun with it. It's pretty straightforward, but where else are you gonna get an anime that starts as the Terminator and then turns into Full Metal Jacket 15 minutes later? Light recommendation if you want to see an anime so obscure that even the company on the box forgot that they made it. Hopefully, we don't have to wait until Halley's Comet comes back to see it come out again.
Or will be in 2061 and 2134, if you can hang on for that, that'll be the best one.